River Road, you got me running way back home. River Road, you got me running all night long. You got me singing some canal boat song. River Road, you got me running all night long.
I love playing that. I love playing that before we start now.
Yeah, it's tight, man. I'm bobbing my head.
We gotta get in that ad though. Like we need some representation in the ad.
We had a little blip there at the start.
Yeah.
In case you all didn't notice, we were in there, and this is Niner Nuts. Welcome to another episode, everybody. This is Dan here along with James and Eric. James is back. Welcome, gentlemen. How are we doing?
Good, man. Good, man. Business is good. Jimmy B's Collectibles is taking off. Like, everything's good. Wait to the end of the show for our new ad. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
Things are good on my end. Can't complain.
Hell yeah. And yes, I'm excited to share that ad with everybody. This week, or today's episode, I should say, we already talked ad nauseum about Christian's contract and the Madden curse. So we don't have any other Niner news to talk about this week, but we decided to take advantage of that and talk about something that we are all passionate about: movies. Eric and I talk about Marvel movies a lot. James and I both have film school experience. I'm wearing my Alien shirt, one of my all-time favorite movies. We watched it all together recently. Yes.
That was so bad.
Oh my god.
I was like halfway through that movie and was like, oh my god.
Right? Drink.
Yeah. It was so.
That was so much fun though. And
Yeah.
I'm so excited for Romulus. I don't know if you guys have seen the trailer. I am so excited for Romulus. It looks so good. And Fede Alvarez directed it, the guy that did Don't Breathe and Evil Dead in 2013. Like, anyway, the movies we're going to be talking about, though, I don't know if you guys, I didn't make like a formal list or anything. I thought this would just be a fun discussion about football movies just in general. If you do have a list, I mean, feel free to share it, of course. But I am cheating a little bit. I just pulled up a list of some of the more notable football movies of all time. I'm not going to plug where it's from though. But no, just glancing over this list. No, I haven't seen all of these. I've seen a good majority of these though. But
let's start with number 10. Is it number 10?
It's 25. I'm actually almost there. I am at 10. This particular publisher's number 10 is Varsity Blues. That which I actually have not seen Varsity Blues.
It's not bad.
I have seen Varsity Blues a long time ago.
Yeah, that brings about some good memories and basic training, you know. Like it was one of the only movies that was playing at the time, and when we got passes, I just kept going to see it because I loved it so much. It's probably, you know, rest in peace, Paul Walker. Probably the only Paul Walker film I actually like.
Oh,
what? How do you not like the later Fast and the Furious movies?
They're awful, bro. They're like
Fast 7 was actually pretty good. I'll give that one credit.
You know what the best Fast and the Furious is?
Tokyo Drift.
3, because Paul Walker's not in it. Like, I mean, that's just my preference. Like, I know he was a nice guy. Don't bash me. I know he was a nice guy, but he just wasn't my favorite actor. Like, he just wasn't.
Well, nobody's saying that he was a good actor. We're just saying that the movies are just a sheer adrenaline rush of just nonsense and ridiculousness that force feeds into your brain for like 2.5 hours.
See, nonsense and ridiculousness, yes, but I'm sorry, the force feed one does not sit well with me. It really gives me a stomach ache.
Oh, I wouldn't say the absence of Paul Walker is why Tokyo Drift is my favorite, but yes, 3 is the best one. And then I'd put 7 behind it, honestly. 7's a great movie, given the circumstances they had to Frankenstein it together, and it turned out watchable, let alone great. Like, yeah, kudos to that movie, honestly.
Yeah, all of them from 5 on are and infinitely watchable as just chaotic background noise.
I haven't watched 10, full disclosure. I've seen up to 9, and 10 was on.
Did we need 10? Like,
Oh my
how
God.
did we get to 10?
10 just takes everything from all the previous movies and just like takes it up to like the next notch of ridiculousness and
I mean, when
absurdity.
what's his name? It was Vin Diesel. It's Vin Diesel, right?
Yeah.
So when Vin Diesel jumps across a bridge into a speeding car right in the window to save a girl, like, I'm out, man. I'm just out. Just out.
You-
Like,
You were out before.
The least crazy things that he's done as far as a stunt.
I know, but like that is just like
Space.
it
Let's not
was
forget.
it was so ridiculous. Like I just after that, I was like, I can't watch this. This is trash.
They went to space in 9. Let's not forget.
Yeah.
Like, no joke. They literally went to space in 9, and I saw that in theaters. Like,
Yeah, I saw 10 in the theater with my son. It was he had the best time of his life. It was he couldn't have been happier.
10's been on Peacock and Prime, and I think it's back on Peacock or it's still on. And I haven't given the 2.5 hours to watch it. My wife and I have watched so many things. Eric, that one trailer I texted you or you sent me with Jake Gyllenhaal as the prosecutor that cheated on his wife.
Yeah.
We watched the first 2 episodes of that last night. Oh my God. It's so good.
Oh, okay.
And you still haven't finished Dairy Girls?
That's a remake, by the way.
We did
know
finish
that?
there. Sorry, Eric, what did you say?
That's a remake.
It's based on a book. Is it a remake?
Yeah, there was a Harrison Ford movie back in the 90s that was of the same title.
Oh, don't tell me that. I kind of don't want to know the ending yet.
Well, I'm
But yes,
just saying,
James,
like,
we did finish Dairy Girls. We did
Did you
finish
finish?
Dairy Girls.
You did?
Yes, I thought I texted you we did, but yes, we did
No, you
finish.
didn't text me. Okay.
We did take a break to go through a shameless binge, and then we finished Dairy Girls.
What did you think? What did you think of the ending and all of that? What did you think?
Oh, super sweet. I did get a little emotional during the last episode. It was really, really sweet.
What did you think of the Usual Suspects episode?
Oh, that was so funny.
Isn't it? That's like the best. Like Eric, like you got to watch Dairy Girls so we can all talk about the Usual Suspects episode.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yes,
I don't know what Dairy Girls is, but
it's on Netflix. It was produced by the BBC, but Netflix got the international rights, and it really is a great little comedy that's set during.
It'll bring you back, Eric. It'll bring you back to our time, like when we were teenagers in the 90s, and some of the crap that was going on. Like the setting is when the Troubles were going on in Northern Ireland and stuff.
Oh, okay.
But the thing about it is that's sort of like a backdrop to the hijinks that these kids get into. And then guess what? The parents get into similar hijinks.
Oh.
And so like the parents are getting into trouble. The kids are getting into trouble. There's all sorts of stuff. They go to an all-girls Catholic school, and then they have one guy who's the girl's cousin. He's English, and they don't want to send him to an Irish Catholic school because he's English. So they send him with the girls. So he's a boy in an all-girls school.
I do want to talk about football movies, but but I didn't interrupt that. Great recommendation for Dairy Girls. It is a great show. But I am not joking. I literally have breaking news. I'm surprised your phones didn't go off.
Oh. They probably did. I hear beeps going on, but I don't have my watch on. What's the breaking news?
I'm turning my phone. Trevor Lawrence, 5 years, $275 million to the Jaguars.
Ugh.
Is that not the exact contract I told you that Purdy was going to sign?
Yeah.
I literally said that. I think I said 270 or 275. It was going to be one of those. Now Trevor Lawrence, I think that's a $54, if not $55 million. Yep, $55 million a year for Trevor Lawrence, with 142 of that guaranteed.
How many touchdowns did he have last year? Like 26?
Breaking news, guys. This is a real-time reaction.
He didn't have 26 touchdowns. I think he didn't even have 20.
Exactly. Why would you pay $275 million for a guy who can't even throw 20 touchdowns in the season?
I have no idea.
Hold on, I'm pulling up his stats.
Okay, like I'm officially on it. Balky is definitely a bad GM if he's signing that contract.
Well, I could have told you Balky was a bad GM from 10 years ago.
I mean, I told you Trevor was a bad GM before we did the show.
Yeah, what? Trevor Lawrence had 21 touchdowns last season.
Oh, 21 touchdowns. Like,
but he also had 14 interceptions.
That is so awful. That is not worth $275 million.
They're banking on that production he had sophomore year, where it was 25-8, and he had 5 rushing touchdowns also.
Even though that was also over like a 6-game span.
Yeah.
He just got a hot streak.
His career win percentage is 20-30. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's awful. That's an awful, awful contract. That's
the market, though. That's what I've told you guys. Like,
they would have been better off trading him. They should have traded him and let somebody else give him that contract. Like, that is so dumb.
We need a Jaguar. We have a Panthers, or not Panthers. We have a Patriots contact. We have an Eagles contact, and we're Niners fans. You need to recruit someone in Florida to be a Jaguars contact.
They don't exist. They don't exist. They're all like Niners fans, Steelers fans, Eagles fans, some other fan than the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Man, they're really betting the farm that Trevor's gonna be worth it. Like, I'm surprised the guarantee honestly is not higher than 140, or 142. But
well, that's
I told you a $54 million or $55 million contract was next up. Just Trevor did it, so now that means Purdy's gonna get like 56.
This is why John is a bad GM. Like, he should have set the market before this Trevor Lawrence deal, because
they can't sign Purdy yet. They're not allowed to.
Yeah, it's a rule that he can't break his rookie contract.
Trevor Lawrence had 2 300-yard games last season. That was it.
Way to go, Balky. Way to go, Balky. You're 1 year away from being fired.
This is eerily similar to the Jay Cutler situation that Chicago had a decade ago, where is there a better option than Jay Cutler? No. Okay, so guess we got to bite the bullet on this contract. I feel like Jacksonville had to have been in kind of the same boat. Like, was there a better option than Trevor?
I'm sure there's always a better option. There is always a better option when Trevor
Jones.
What's that?
Mac Jones?
No, I'm just saying, like,
Mac Jones is their backup. That's why I said that.
You probably could have gotten a 1 for Trevor Lawrence at some point.
Oh, yeah. Easily.
So it's easy. Trade him in the draft to some team that wants to bet on him and go get yourself another quarterback. Like, it's the most important position on the team is the quarterback. And we have literally seen that the one way to win the Super Bowl is to have an elite quarterback who can pass the ball. If you don't have that, you don't have a chance. And that's what we've seen in the NFL. Yeah, these average teams get into the playoffs and they make a little noise. But who was in the Super Bowl last year? It was Patrick Mahomes, the best quarterback in the league, and Brock Purdy, one of the brightest young talents in the league coming up. The year before that, we have Patrick Mahomes and Jalen Hurts. You know, you need a generational quarterback, or at least one that is elite at the position, in order to have a chance to even win the Super Bowl. If you don't have that, you need to get it. And I'm sorry, the time has come where it's like, if a guy is average and has 1 good year and 2 bad years, and you're going to pay him $255 million, like, it's better for you to trade that guy, let somebody give him that contract, and go draft the guy on a rookie contract.
Do we think that Trevor's ceiling really has collapsed in on itself, though?
I really do, yes. To take a step back in his 3rd year with Doug Peterson, like, I have more faith in Doug Peterson than I do Trevor Lawrence. That's for sure.
I don't feel too strongly one way or the other. Like, I've seen good highlights of him, but do I know him that intimately? Not really. Like, I I can understand though that they invested so much into this guy, and
Dumb.
Trent and the owner felt safer writing out this guy clearly for the next at least 3 years. Or no, 50. Yeah, like 4 years. Or no, yeah, 4 years, and invest the money into this guy. They felt more comfortable doing that. So I mean, Godspeed. Like, good luck. The AFC South is actually going to get kind of hard now.
Dumb.
Well, see, the thing with that is, though, is so I'm looking at Sport Track right now. So they say his contract is $200,000 guaranteed, by the way.
200,000? What?
Or 200 million guaranteed, sorry.
Oh,
200 million guaranteed. But he was already under contract for this year and his 5th-year option next year. So they could have let him play out this season and see, does he regress further? Is last year what kind of quarterback he is, or does he improve like we think he's going to?
I'm surprised this contract didn't void out the 5th-year option, because they usually do that.
Well, I mean, it probably will once it's put in here. I mean, it's not updated yet, but I mean,
oh, okay.
He still had 2 years under team control. So, I mean, they didn't have to give him this deal now. They could have let him play out this coming season on an $11 million cap hit or whatever it would have been. I think that part's changed because it looks like it's updated a little bit, but they could have let him play out this season and got a better feel for what kind of quarterback he really was, and then gave him a new contract while he was playing out that last year of that 5th-year option. But now you've committed to a guy who last year was unspectacular at best, and now you may have locked yourself into a guy long term who, like you just said, Dan, is Jay Cutler, who's, he's fine, he's serviceable, he'll win you some games, but he's going to lose you games too.
Eric, you're hired. When Jimmy B gets a bunch of money, he's going to go buy the Jaguars from Khan, and he's going to hire you as GM.
Thank you.
Because you are smarter than Balky. That's sad. That's sad. A man who has probably, what should we call it, Gucci and Gabbana suits, getting paid so much money to run a freaking team, who makes this dumb decision. You and your Game Boy shirt could literally GM the Jaguars better than Trent Baalke.
That's
I mean,
have you guys heard him talk? Like I heard
Trent Baalke.
Trent Baalke. Matt Mayako, I was listening to one of his podcasts, and he did a Trent Baalke impression, and he made him sound like Bob Einstein in Curb Your Enthusiasm, and it was so funny.
I mean, it's just like we were talking earlier today off mic on the whole Alvin Kamara situation and him holding out and wanting more money. And like I said in the chat, like, I got half a mind. He cost me $1 million in guaranteed money. You know what, Alvin Kamara? Have a good day. It was nice having you around. See you, buddy.
I know. Like, why don't they feel like they can? Why do GMs feel so attached to players that, were good young or whatever, and now they're mediocre or less than mediocre, and they want to attach themselves to these players and not give up on them? No, it's 28-year-old running back who wants $12 million like a year. Like, get out of here. Like you said, Eric, 1,100 yards total offense and 6 touchdowns.
Yeah, what is that?
They're giving him $12 million. That's top running back money. This is why Mickey Loomis needs to be fired in New Orleans. And he needed to be fired a long time ago when they caught him listening in to freaking headsets.
Yeah.
Like they're like, and the Saints are like, oh yeah, nothing to see here. Yeah, he's a good GM. Really? Is he a good GM? He literally had to listen to headsets in order to be able to win any games in the NFL. And now that he can't listen to headsets, Sean Payton's gone and everybody's gone. Drew Brees, and we got Alvin Kamara. He's not even their best player. Like, and they're holding on to him. It's like you're holding on.
This is why I couldn't be a GM, because I would take too much emotional weight in him being a pseudo face of the franchise. Like, I don't think I'd be as bad as Jerry Jones, but I mean, I don't know, the ceiling that Alvin Kamara, at least in theory, has, maybe being 28 now, that Christian McCaffrey's a unicorn and Kamara, is going to struggle to even hit 1,000 when he clearly struggled to hit 1,100 with 17 games, not even 16 games. I guess the Belichick approach of cut him loose, and then if he still has a good year with someone else, then yay, more power to you. We weren't going to take that gamble. Like, that's why I can't be a GM, because I would not take the Belichick approach unless I probably hated the player as a person.
Yeah, I mean, but that's the thing. You're a GM. You're paid to make tough decisions, not to get sentimental about somebody, and your job should always be active, looking to, make the team better. It shouldn't be to hold on to players who had some potential that haven't lived up to it and give them a max contract like this. That's what bad GMs do. And I'm surprised the owner of the Saints hasn't fired freaking Mickey Loomis. They're holding on to Mickey Loomis because Mickey Loomis, got Drew Brees and all that, Sean Payton. They won a
Super Bowl, yeah.
Won a Super Bowl with freaking whatever, the Bounty Gate and headsets. And it's like, what makes you think that Mickey Loomis is a good GM and a viable GM that can build a roster and build a team without having to cut some corners and having to play with the rules of the rule book a little bit, and actually cheat? Like, why would you keep that guy around? He is embarrassing your organization. The longer and longer you keep him as a GM, they needed to cut ties with him like 10 years ago. They're still holding on to him. Look at what they needed to do to get, what was his name? The trade they made with the Eagles to get that wide receiver, Chris Olave, right? That's the receiver?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many draft picks did they give up for Chris Olave? Like,
wasn't it like 5?
It was like 5 picks, and all they did was move up 2 spots or 3 spots. It's like Mickey Loomis is one of the worst GMs in the league. He's had you mediocre for not even mediocre the last 3 years. Like, you need to get rid of that guy. You need to get rid of him. He's driving your team into the ground.
Yeah,
it's not even that they're so sorry. They're not even so bad they're eligible for the first overall pick. It's almost worse, like how the Steelers are always like at 500. The Saints are always at like 4 or 5 wins. They're never that bad, but they are bad. Like, and that's almost worse.
Look what happened. That number 1 pick that New Orleans gave up to the Eagles for Chris Olave is now Jalen Carter. Okay. Like, if I was a GM, you would be, or as I was an owner, you'd be fired as my GM. That you literally traded 5 picks for Chris Olave and you could have had Jalen Carter.
Just like the Titans GM with the AJ Brown trade.
He's an idiot too.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm sorry to step on you, Eric. What were you going to say?
Oh, no, I was just going to say, I take a very analytical approach to all of that stuff. I mean, to me, like, stats is just the great equalizer when it comes to all of these values and the way that you look at players. I mean, like, you said, Dan, like, you'd get very emotionally attached to some guys in the face of the franchise and things like that. And I understand that. And I could see myself believing in some of that too, when you get to know these guys and they've been around the franchise for a while and stuff like that. But to me, it's just like you just look at the numbers and you look at the trends over time and you break down all the nerdy numbers, as we like to say, and do all the deep analytics beyond even just what you see in terms of yards and touchdowns and stuff. But you get into the real minute, minutia,
yards per carry, yards per touch, all of that.
Yeah, all the real in-depth numbers, and you just look at it and you look at the trends and stuff, and you see, is it going down? Is it staying flat? What has it been over the last 3 years? And you just look at that and you just say, okay, look, when I look at your numbers and I compare them to the other guys, at your position, they're here, you're here, I'm not paying you the same numbers that these guys up here are making. It's just not going to happen. So you can either come and you can play for us at these numbers here, or you can go away. That's just what it amounts to, because I'm not going to overpay and further damage the franchise to for some reason think that you're all of a sudden going to achieve this when you've shown me over the past 3 years that you're this. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. So
it's like, it's very simple. You're not worth that value. If you want a different deal, go shop yourself around.
Yeah.
Like that's just it. Like
Yeah.
Howie Roseman is good at gauging the market and understanding that. Mickey Loomis, not so good. Trent Baalke, not so good. You have to draw a line in the sand with mediocre players and saying you're not getting a top contract. And if you want one, we'll let you shop around. We'll let you find somebody that may give you that contract, and then see what happens.
Yeah.
Then see what happens. Then see if they want you for that price. We're not going to pay it. Go ahead. We'll make the trade. You go have a nice life in Minnesota or Seattle, or LA, whatever. Like, you go have a nice life there.
Yeah.
We'll take the picks. We'll figure it out. We'll get somebody new. We'll get somebody younger. We'll get somebody who has promise on a rookie deal, right? On a rookie deal. Like, why would you spend $55 million a year on a mediocre quarterback when there's literally a talent pool? Especially this year, there was like a huge talent pool of quarterbacks this year. You give Trevor up to one of those guys who wants somebody like that. We'll pay him the money if they do or whatever. You get the pick. You go make another pick. And we like John. At least John was smart enough to move on from Trey Lance. He was like, he made a mistake. He said, "This is it. I got to get rid of it." I mean, granted, I think he could have got more, but whatever. He still made the mistake, moved on from it, and now is betting on Purdy because that's the safer bet, which is what it looks like, right?
We'll look at the year after we made the freaking Super Bowl.
Exactly.
That's the year after, and we were a broken elbow away from making a previous Super Bowl.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like, you can't get sentimental about mediocre talent. You just can't.
Or unhealthy, because literally,
unhealthy talent is the worst.
Well, that's literally what everything that you both have just said is exactly the script that followed with Arik Armstead back in March.
Yeah.
I agree. It sucked losing him. I really hated losing him. But when he's basically two years in a row has shown that he is guaranteed to be out for 6 to 8 games, you're not worth $18 million anymore. We want to cut you down to 6. Okay, well, Jacksonville, I think, is paying him 14 or 16. It wasn't the full 18, but they're paying me more than 6, and their tax bracket's better, just by coincidence.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Have fun living in Florida. It happens.
You can't be sentimental as a GM.
Yeah.
It's truly a mistake. When you start to become sentimental as a GM, that's when your franchise is going to suffer. Eagles did it too. I mean, they made sentimental signings after the Super Bowl and things like that. But when it comes down to the nitty-gritty, they realize we can't be sentimental with these guys. We have to be always actively looking to improve our team. Yeah. And we're not going to pay top dollar for mediocre talent. They gauge the market. They're usually right about the market. And if somebody gets a better deal elsewhere, they're willing to do that. They're willing to give up on that player to get a better deal, and that's the mantra that, it seems like, I mean, John's at least caught on to that. Like, I can't get sentimental about you. I can't, try to double down on Trey Lance and say, well, Purdy and we'll make Trey. No,
we were looking to let go of Juszczyk. He accepted a pay cut, but we did the same thing to Juszczyk. We were, if you read between the tea leaves, like, we were willing to let him go.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what you have to do if you're going to be a good GM. You can't get sentimental. And all these GMs getting sentimental and giving out big contracts and mediocre players is just going to kill your team. And within a year, next year, Trent Baalke is going to be fired. Guaranteed.
All right.
I'd be willing to bet on it.
Do you have an update on the numbers?
No. Top QBs ranked by total contract value. Number 1, Patrick Mahomes, $450 million. Are we okay with that? Right? I mean, I hate Patrick Mahomes. He could go jump off a cliff, but he's probably deserving of $450 million, right?
I agree.
4 Super Bowl trips and 3 wins. Here's a blank check.
I know, right?
Yeah. Next is Joe Burrow and newly minted Trevor Lawrence tied with $275 million.
I didn't know Joe Burrow was making 55. Wow. That's
so we're saying Trevor Lawrence and Joe Burrow tied at $275 million. I'm not
No.
even sure I would pay Joe Burrow $275
Exactly.
million.
I don't know if I pay Joe Burrow that much money. Now you're paying Trevor Lawrence that much money?
If one had to make that money, I would pick Joe. But
yeah, of course you pick Joe. Joe's
I agree.
Chuck Norris.
I agree
He
in
just gets injured.
I agree in principle, though, that with his injury risk history, the Bengals are taking a risk. But
if he gets hurt again this season, he's a bust.
Yeah.
If he's out again for a significant period of time, they have serious problem on their hands.
Yeah. I think Cincinnati's made the better decision taking the gamble better than Jacksonville, because Jacksonville just has not had the success, and Cincinnati at least made a Super Bowl.
Yeah. Next is Justin Herbert at $262.5 million.
I abstain. I believe in that kid. I hate his franchise, but I believe in that kid. I think he's worth it.
He's the definition of average right now. I think his winning percentage is literally 500.
It's the we talked about superstitions.
The franchise is sort of like cursed ever since they went out to LA. Jim Harbaugh, we'll see what he can do with them, but I mean, I'm okay with Herbert. Just getting that second contract. I mean, it's not like we're putting him up, above Patrick Mahomes or something like that.
Yeah, he's got worlds of talent. I'll grant you that.
I don't believe in the Madden curse, but I believe in the LA Chargers curse. I really like Herbert.
All right.
Yeah, I think he's worth it.
Okay. Yeah. Lamar Jackson is fifth at $260 million. Do we pay Lamar $260? I think Lamar's worth every bit of money you get him. He's going to get over the hump.
2 MVPs.
I agree. No argument.
Yeah.
Josh Allen is next at $258.34.
He's worth it.
Yeah, I say
it's like Justin Herbert to me. Like the Bills, just something existential is just keeping the Bills back. Like something intangible is keeping the Bills back. But in terms of pure talent, Josh Allen's worth it.
Curse or something like that. Is that what you're talking about?
Exactly. But no, Josh is worth it.
Next, we'll have a very polarizing discussion over Jalen Hurts at $255 million.
He's number 9, right?
7. He's number 7 on the list.
So over a year ago, he was the highest paid quarterback. That literally lasted a week, and now he's 7, right?
Yeah. He was worth a big boy contract. I'll agree with James.
He was worth a big boy contract. He got it, and what did Howie do? He got ahead of the market, and now he went from number 1 all the way down to number 7 in a little over a year. Right? This is what I've been preaching with John. You get ahead of the market. You start the contract talks before everything. You don't wait to the end of the season, and that's now. Every second that you waste, you are wasting money. You really, really are. Because every day it goes up a mil. The next day it goes up another mil because somebody's signing. Every day that the longer you let it go, you're wasting money.
Are we worried if Jalen's touchdown to interception ratio is similar to last year, or are we still okay?
I'm still okay. I think what happened was Brian Johnson just wasn't creative with the offense. I think under Kellen Moore, I think adding Saquon Barkley will help.
Well, should.
And when you have a 3-down back that can catch, run, and block and be in there every down, you have AJ Brown, Goddard, Devontae Smith, like. You have all these guys under contract for the next 3 or 4 years, it's a good situation. Kellen Moore's probably not going to go anywhere, Vic Fangio is probably not going to go anywhere. Like they're going to have a good nucleus of a team where Jalen's going to be able to be successful. And so is the team. Everything is that. Vic Fangio doesn't want to be a head coach anymore. He just wants to retire as a coordinator in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
He said that, So this nucleus that they got on their coaching staff and on their players I think is going to flourish, and Jalen's going to look like he did in 2022.
Okay, I think last year I honestly think last year was a fluke too.
And
how poisoned the locker room got was so extreme. I I can't believe that will happen again. Like,
But the
with
thing about
everything
it
that you've been saying, I
But the
think
thing
the
about it
Eagles will
is,
be
the
fine.
first 11 weeks, Jalen was the MVP of the league. The first 11 weeks, he was the MVP of the league. People had him as the top guy to win MVP. So we can see that Jalen Hurts can literally put a team on his back and perform miracles with it. Because look at those games. He was winning close games. He won like 6 close games in a row with 2 minutes left in the game and all of that.
Oh yeah, you did do something weird like that, yeah.
Jalen is a franchise quarterback. He's
that
taking
game,
to the
that
Super
game
Bowl.
in the rain, Eric, that you and I were so pissed about.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, that
Jalen can literally
cost me
be
money.
Superman. He can put on his cape and pull miracles with the team. He is a leader of men. And you look at the Super Bowl he played in. He was the best player on the field.
He
People
balled
were
out that
arguing
game.
that he should have got the MVP even though he lost. Like, that's how good Jalen is. And you can build an offense around him. Kellen Moore is going to have a field day with all these freaking weapons that he has. Like, I think we're going to be running up score like Madden. Like, we're just going to be like killing people 30-15 and stuff. Like, that's what I think.
As much as I want to like have less competition in the NFC, I'm not discounting the Eagles either. Like, it ended so extremely badly. Like, it makes me like, oh no, like they're going to come out with a vengeance tour. Like, they want to prove that was a fluke, and I'm not discounting the Eagles.
I agree.
Yeah, they 2 years in a row, they were the last undefeated team. And they had a tumultuous locker room last year, and they still were the last undefeated team. So tell me, if you get everybody back on the same page, you get a regroup, you reanalyze everything, you figure out what you did wrong, you create the culture again and create a different culture. Jalen becomes more of a leader and more personable in the locker room, which he has already done. He is starting to do that. Like, yeah, they're coming back with a vengeance. They're going to go out and they're going to kill teams 30-15 or 30-10 every single week you watch.
It's going to be a 3-legged race between your team, us, and the Lions, I think.
No, I think the Packers are going to be in there.
Oh, thank you. I cheered for the Packers last time we talked about the whole league. Thank you for reminding me. The Packers are going to be a sleeper good team too.
Yes, they are. If you're looking for the prime team in the NFC to come out and be NFC champions, it's the Packers. They have the whole package to be the next team. Purdy went to the Super Bowl and lost, not getting back. Goff went to the Super Bowl and lost, not getting back. Hurts went to the Super Bowl and lost, not getting back. You look at history.
You were so set on that curse.
I am, because it's proven. Like, it hasn't been broken for like 30 years.
This is what we were talking about on Tuesday.
I know.
It's a curse. And this is why, like, if you're gonna bet on the NFC, bet on the Packers. You're getting good odds, right?
I may bet on the Packers after the show.
Exactly. They have the prime thing. A quarterback as a second-year starter, you know, they are prime. They are the prime team to look after. It's going to come down between the Lions and the Packers for the division. And I'm going to pick the Packers to come out on top because Jordan Love's going to take the next step. I mean, we have to give them credit for being the first 7th seed to win a playoff game. And not only win it, but dominated. They dominated. They literally treated like they were the Cowboys' daddy. They literally were the Cowboys' daddy. Like, Dan Quinn gets all this credit for this defense, and all of a sudden they're down 28-0 to the Packers. Like, it's going to be the Packers. If you're really looking at history and how the league is, it's going to be the Packers coming out of the NFC.
Packers are 9.5 wins for the season, just as an FYI.
Bet the over. Bet the over.
They'll hit 10 wins. They're
going to hit 12.
Ooh, ambitious. I'm just saying 12. They'll hit 10. They're definitely getting more than 9.
Yeah, I think they're going to be at 12. They're going to be 12-5.
After you're done looking at that, we were at 9. Was there one last quarterback on there?
Jalen Hurts was 7. So the next one is Kyler Murray at $230.5 million.
No.
Yeah. No, thanks. Take all your money back.
No, he was not worth it.
I would like to return what I have purchased, please.
I mean, to be
Unless
fair,
you're gonna play, unless
this
you're
one's too
paying him to
short.
play freaking Black Ops and to be a professional video gamer, like then he's worth the money. You know?
to be fair, that organization has a lot bigger problems than just him. But yeah, no, all things considered, no, he hasn't been worth.
You mean the fact that they're so cheap, the fact that
Yeah.
they make players pay for food, you know?
Yeah.
No, Arizona's a complete S show. Like it's just an extension of their problems. No, he's not been worth it.
Yeah. After him is another wonderful face of the franchise in Deshaun Watson at $230 million.
I abstain. I have an out time, and we don't have enough time to rehash all the issues with the Browns. No.
Yeah. Clearly not worth it so far. That's been the biggest waste of money on the planet at this point in time, other than Elon Musk buying Twitter.
It's so funny though. I will say, my only thought on this though is that it's so funny that they were like, we're gonna break the quarterback market. He's gonna be worth it. And not only has he not lived up to the hype, and sure, injuries, whatever, but no other GM was like, we got to copy this guy. Every GM, whether we love him or hate him, all of us came together and collectively flipped him off and said, nope, no quarterback's still getting guaranteed contracts except for him.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the thing.
I love that happened.
Like, the thing about it is, I love the cojones that they had. Like, you got to admit that was some cojones. Like, you need a franchise quarterback. The way it all went down, like they knew they needed something in their back pocket to get him. So I like the cojones, but it didn't pan out. And I'm sort of glad that it's all failed and come down on Deshaun Watson, because I mean, I don't like the guy. You know, I really don't like the guy. Like he's a dirtbag.
Yeah.
I feel bad for I feel bad for your neighbors, Eric. Like that just so sucks that they're gonna still have to have that loom over them for at least another 3 years.
Yeah, and you could objectively say that they were better with Joe Flacco, who literally just came off of his couch after eating Thanksgiving dinner to go play football.
I know, he was like that. He was like the
amazing.
uncle from Napoleon Dynamite. He's just like,
Literally
he's just
Uncle
gonna
Rico.
sling some footballs around. Number 10,
Amazing.
number 10, and the last of our $200 million quarterbacks is Jared Goff at $212 million.
Worth it.
I'll say that's worth it.
No, but he was like sure, maybe it's a little emotional adding this element to it, but I think it's worth noting though, because LA literally sent him there to kill his career, and he has brought life back to Detroit, and he's played in a way that's been worth every penny. They got to the NFC Championship after 3 years of Campbell. Between him and Goff, they've brought life back to that city, and I'm not going to say that they'll win the Super Bowl. Like, it's ridiculous to just bet that your team's going to win the Super Bowl in a year, except Kansas City. But, but no, they've brought a life and relevancy to Detroit and the Lions that has been absent, at least in my 32 years of existence. Like, and he's worth every penny.
I agree. I'm just surprised Kirk Cousins isn't like in the top 10.
He didn't get it to
making money. Cousins is 180. He's number 11.
Yeah, he didn't get a 200 contract from Atlanta.
Where's Dak?
Dak is number 12. He is 1.
Oh, see, I'm right there, man. I know who's next.
Oh, by August, he'll be in there by August.
There's a big tie between Dak, Matthew Stafford, and good old Daniel Jones at $160 million.
Stafford's worth it. Dak's not, and Daniel's not. Stafford's worth every penny. Stafford's worth every penny, though. I will die on that hill. Stafford's a great quarterback.
Dable's going to be fired at the end of the year. Dable's going to be fired at the end of the year. Coach of the year, 2 years. It's going to be coach of the year and be fired in 3 years. That's like,
oh yeah, he'll be back to being an offensive coordinator somewhere.
Yeah, he will. Like, it was a sham that he got coach of the year. Like, seriously.
He had the good kind of fluke that Minnesota did also, the opposite way that you had a bad fluke to close out your year. He and the Vikings both had great flukes that got them into the playoffs. Like, God, that's so funny.
Wasn't that the year that the Vikings managed to win like every 1-score game that year?
Yeah, they won like 11 or 12 1-score games.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was just insane. So,
Including
they had
in-
they had like a 33-point comeback against the Colts too.
Yep. I watched
I
that.
listened to that whole thing. I remember
I
that game.
I knew that first touchdown after halftime that the Colts were gonna fall apart very quickly if they didn't change. And then the Vikings scored again. And I was like, nope, this is it. Like I didn't think it was gonna go in overtime, but
I remember betting a 16 money line parlay, and I needed the Vikings to win, and they were playing Washington. And I'm freaking out Walmart listening to the game, and they end up taking the lead with 30 seconds left. Oh yeah! So happy that the Vikings are trashing the Commanders, and like, yeah, I mean, you never know what's gonna happen. That's the fun of football. You just never know what could happen on any given Sunday. You might see something that you never seen before. You know,
Yeah.
you might see a team win 12 one-score games in one season. You might see the Giants win a playoff game. Like, you just never know. You might see a 7 seed take out a number 2 seed, and do it in decisive fashion. You know, you might see a ref not use his ears to listen when a guy calls that he's eligible. Like, like you just never know what you're going to get when you watch a game. And that's the beauty of football. And it's the beauty of any sport. Same with baseball.
It is.
You just never know what you're going to get when you watch the game. And that's why we watch, because you just never know what could happen.
Yep.
it is. I think there is a wonderful spot.
Invincible is the best movie. I gotta get that out.
Oh, jeez.
I was saving mine for the news blurb because we spent this whole episode talking about the news blurb.
Yeah.
But we need to talk about our sponsor first, RoyalRetros.com. They're still with us. They're still awesome. It is your go-to place to go get yourself an authentic throwback jersey. Go ahead and check out the Candlestick collection. It's curated with the Bay Area in mind. And when you find something that you like, whether it's football or any of the other major sports, basketball, baseball, soccer, what have you, use the promo code Shady Sports and get 10% off of your entire order. Again, it is promo code Shady Sports to get 10% off of your entire order at RoyalRetros.com. It helps us out. It helps our parent company, Shady Sports Network, out. Again, use promo code Shady Sports for 10% off of your entire order at RoyalRetros.com. Go get yourself an authentic throwback jersey today. James, I did a very bad job talking about the charity because I'm always bad at it when you're not here. Let people know that we're still selling some shirts.
So, guys, for the last year now, we've been doing this pretty much officially for a year. We've been calling out NFL owners and the lack of accountability in the NFL. One of the owners, a minority owner of the Texans, was charged with very serious sexual crimes. Not surprising because Deshaun Watson was there, and then there's the cover-up with Deshaun Watson that the Texans did. So this is not surprising that a Houston Texans minority owner is charged with serious sexual crime. How many people are listening to it? How many people are hearing that an owner did this? Charged. We have seen in the news recently where a player has an investigation. Not even charges, not even arrested, not even arraigned, not even nothing. And we hear about it day after day after day. Meanwhile, owners are making news for like 2 seconds. And the next thing you know, it's gone. It's gone. Nobody's paying attention to it. Well, we here at Niner Nuts are paying attention to it. And if you think your owner is clean, there were 31 teams on the blackmail PowerPoint. Every owner has dirt. We know it. And we can track back to Jed York, where the NFL knew for 2 years that he was implicated in an insider trading scandal from a company that was helping students cheat on tests during the pandemic. And what's going on? Why aren't we hearing about this? Why isn't this big news? Why do I have to read about it in the San Francisco Chronicle once, and not, the newspapers on the East Coast aren't even talking about it? There's just little blurbs like San Francisco Reporter, and that's it. Nobody's analyzing this. Nobody's calling these guys out. We are. And to show you, we put our money where our mouth is, we are selling shirts to help a crisis center in Kentucky where the Houston Texans minority owner committed the crime. Okay? And is charged with crime. We had them on our show. You can see we are giving play to the little guy. We want them to be noticed. We give back to the community. We call out the big guys that are screwing everybody over and not getting called out about it. So that's what owner standards are less than player standards. # owner accountability. Raise money for a Kentucky Crisis Center. $22.99 gets you that shirt if you want to be with our statement. Next up, we have our alternate podcast logo art. I own this shirt, very high quality, $22.99 gets you that in premium tee, but we have it in pullover hoodies, crew neck sweatshirts, youth long sleeve tees, all different sizes, colors, and everything. Next up, we have our podcast logo art. You will find this on Spotify, YouTube, and anywhere that you see our profile. You will see this shirt, $22.99 gets you that in a t-shirt, or we have it in long sleeve tees, pullover hoodies, crew neck sweatshirts, all different sizes. And finally, our custom 49er Niner Nuts shirt. How can you say no to a peanut eating peanuts while sitting on the couch rooting for his San Francisco's 49ers? $22.99 gets you that in a tee. We got it in different styles, different sizes. Donate to our wonderful charity in Kentucky, Mountain Comprehensive Care Management. They are the charity that we are raising this for. Guys, this is a great charity. We had them on back in March. Watch that episode. Find out what they do. They let you know that, guess what? These perpetrators of sexual violence are not, they're not what you think. They are the class of society. They hide it very well. Nobody knows what they're doing. They also tell you that sexual assault is an underreported crime, that nearly 50% of all women have been sexually assaulted. Okay? They are a great crisis center. They are helping people in the community overcome not only the sexual assault, but the things that go with it, like addiction. Okay? A lot of people who are hooked on drugs are that way because they needed an outlet to hide the abuse and get over the abuse. They are dealing with dual diagnoses like PTSD, bipolar 2, depression, anxiety. Guys, you need to donate to this charity today. You need to get on our side, call out the big guys, and tell them, hey, we're tired of it. We're donating by buying these t-shirts to this charity. You can even donate on their website if you don't want a shirt. We are here to fight for the little guys, to say no to the owners who are up there in their ivory towers getting away with earmuffs. 1, 2, 3. Put your hands over your child's ears. The owners who are getting away with shit every single day. There's a blackmail PowerPoint, and we want it. We want it released, okay? Dan Snyder, I know you still have it. Put it up on the web for everybody to see. Let's just cause chaos and see what happens. You're not an owner anymore. So go, do it. Have some fun, watch it burn. Donate to this charity today.
Yo, here. I links to the charity and the bonfire shirts are in the show notes. Just to remind you all as well. Next week is a bye week, so that means that we will return on the 25th. Apologies. We'll be back on the 25th. In the meantime, guys, have a wonderful Father's Day. And if you celebrate Juneteenth as well, happy Juneteenth. Very happy to celebrate both of those here on the show.
Paid holiday.
And we spent the whole episode talking about the news. So all I will do, even though this means we get to have a further movie discussion at a later date.
Invincible.
I will say The Blind Side is super overrated and actually pretty bad.
That shouldn't even be anywhere near even the 100 list.
Yes, that's a very bad movie. And then underrated movie, go watch We Are Marshall. That's a phenomenal Matthew McConaughey movie.
That is.
It's
celebration of a 3-10 team. Like, they made a good movie about a 3-10 team.
Yeah, We Are Marshall's incredible. Blind Side is bad. Watch Marshall instead.
Rudy, Guy
yes.
Ross, Rudy.
Eric, throw a title out before we leave.
The Water Boy.
Just showed me your boobies, and I like that
But Mama
too.
said alligators so ornery because they have all those teeth and no toothbrush.
Yeah.
Oh man, but yeah, guys, we'll be back on the 25th. Happy Father's Day and happy Juneteenth, and yeah, no, thank you, Trevor Lawrence, for having something more topical to talk about.
Yeah.
Great show content today. Thanks, Trent Balky.
All right. Don't forget, at the end of this show, you will see the new Jimmy B collectibles ad. Guys, if you have any collectibles, doesn't matter what it is, come to us. We will help maximize the financial power of your collection. Don't sell for pennies on the dollar, only for a shark to make hundreds of thousands of dollars on your collection. Come to us. We will tap into that financial power that your collections has. It doesn't matter what it is. Right now, we do cards, we do coins, we do comic books, we do Hot Wheels, and we have a backlog for Beanie Babies. Yes, we have a backlog for Beanie Babies. We have a wait list for Beanie Babies, guys. And I'm here to tell you, as Jimmy B Collectibles, we have a very unique marketing strategy that will bring Beanie Babies back for good. It will be a multi-billion-dollar industry with a fully sustainable secondary market that will have unlimited financial growth for the unforeseeable future. Watch our videos on our webpage, our YouTube channel. Keep up with us. We are making a video. Dan here, he's cutting it together. Got some very good stuff going on. We have a very strong plan. Look out for it in the next coming a month and wait to see the ad at the end of the show. Eric, do you have anything else to say?
The only thing that I was going to say was I looked and I saw that the Big 12 is trying to sell off the naming rights to their conference. They're looking to get rid of the name Big in the Big 12 and just sell that off. So it could be like the Target 12 or the Microsoft 12
or just the 12,
the crypto.com 12 or, whatever it turns out to be. But yeah, they're looking to sell off the naming rights to that. So, apparently everything in the world is for sale. So,
well, Jimmy B is not for sale.
It could be the Jimmy B 12. Whoa!
Yeah, the Jimmy B 12. There you go. That would be awesome. So, guys, with that said, outro music, River Road, Justin Muth.
Later.
Catch you all on the 25th.
River Road, you got me running way back home. River Road, you got me running all night long. You got me singing some canal boat song. River Road, you got me running all night long. River Road, where have all the women gone? Have they kissed her hand and waved you bye-bye? Have they thought about crossing your double yellow lines? River Road, they love the way you whine.